The new Chief of Staff of the Armed Forces of the Philippines, Lieutenant General Romeo S. Brawner Jr., will give his remarks.
His Excellency Ferdinand Romualdez Marcos Jr., sir, the President of the Republic of the Philippines and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Philippines, the Honorable Antonio Lagdameo Jr., the Special Assistant to the President, the Honorable Gilbert C. Teodoro Jr., Secretary, Department of National Defense, sir, General Andres C. Centino, the immediate past Chief of Staff of the Armed Forces of the Philippines, sir, members of my family, other relatives, Malacanang officials, DND officials, generals and flag officers present together with their ladies, former Chiefs of Staff of the Armed Forces of the Philippines, members of PMA Class 1988 and their ladies, members of PMA Class 1989 and their ladies. Sir, may I request them just to stand up to be recognized. Class 89, please. Thank you. Friends from the University of the Philippines, our broads from the UP Vanguards, fellow Special Forces paratroopers, friends from the media, officers and listed personnel, civilian human resource, other distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Today, I stand before you both honored and humbled. Honored for being given the responsibility of leading the more than 150,000 soldiers, Marines, sailors, and airmen, the more than 70,000 KAFGU auxiliary forces, the more than 5,000 civilian human resource, and the more than 1 million reservists of the Armed Forces of the Philippines. I am likewise humbled for given this opportunity to serve our country and the Filipino people. Thus, I would like to thank God for this great blessing. I believe that all promotions and designations come from God. Moreover, I believe that promotions are not given as a reward for past accomplishments or even failures, but as a sign that one is ready or prepared to take on bigger responsibilities. Thus, this designation is my way of glorifying God. I would like to specially thank our President and Commander-in-Chief, His Excellency Ferdinand Romualdez Marcos Jr., sir, for giving me this chance to serve our country as the Chief of Staff of the Armed Forces of the Philippines. I may not be the perfect candidate for this position, but you can be assured, sir, that I will give my steadfast loyalty, my utmost professionalism, and my absolute commitment to the Constitution and to the duly constituted authorities. I owe this to God and to the Filipino people. Let me also thank the Secretary of National Defense, the Honorable Gilberto Teodoro Jr., sir, for endorsing me to the President. Thank you, sir, for your trust and confidence. I would like to dedicate this humble accomplishment to the members of my family, Melody, Kiel, Romeo III, or Rommel, Zuri, Sabrina, my siblings Eric, May, Ferdinand, and their spouses, my uncle, Police Brigadier General Percy Brawner, my in-laws, Attorney and Mrs. James Valeros, my foster mother, Ma'am Edna Nevada, and my other relatives from the Brawner and Saturnino clans. This designation is specially dedicated to my relatives who have already passed away. My late father, Justice Romeo Brawner Jr., my mother, Dr. Lenora Fe Brawner, my sister, Dr. Vicky Jane Brawner, my uncles, General Felix Brawner Jr. and Colonel Franklin Brawner, my cousins, Lieutenant Felix Brawner III and Captain Winston Brawner Bagilat. I am sure that they are looking upon us from heaven, beaming with pride. As I take the helm of the Armed Forces of the Philippines, allow me to articulate the 5 areas where I wish to focus our efforts. For these focus areas, I would like to keep in line with the President's call for national unity. So please allow me, sir, to use the acronym UNITY to better explain these focus areas. This was also used earlier by General Bacaro when he took over as Chief of Staff. U is for unification. Internally, we will focus on making sure that we have a solid and professional armed forces of the Philippines. All members of the AFP, whether they are officers, enlisted personnel, or civilian human resource, should follow the chain of command. Externally, we will help unite our communities. We will make sure that the former rebels unite once again with their families as we extend our hands in reconciliation. We will leverage interagency coordination, linkaging, and alliance building in furtherance of our whole-of-nation approach. N is for normalization. We have to give special attention to the normalization process in the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao, particularly in the disarmament, demobilization, and reintegration of former fighters of the Moro Islamic Liberation Front, as stipulated in the Bangsamoro Organic Law. I is for internal security operations. We shall immediately defeat the remaining local terrorist groups and the communist terrorist group to attain total victory. We have to sustain the dividends of peace by making sure that there will be no resurgence of insurgency and terrorism in our country. T is for territorial defense. In line with the President's pronouncement of not giving an inch of our territory, the AFP will endeavor to modernize its personnel, equipment, facilities, processes, and systems so as to enable it to be a lethal and competent fighting force capable of defending our territory from external aggression. Part of this modernization would be a focus on cyber warfare. I see cyber as a great equalizer, and we have great potential to be a player in the cyber domain. We shall also actively pursue our international defense and security engagements to strengthen our relations with our allies and partners. We shall actively participate in the United Nations missions to enhance our country's reputation as a peace-loving nation. Finally, Y. Y is for youth. The AFP will do its share in developing our youth, the future leaders and citizens of our nation, to be responsible and patriotic defenders of our national identity as a people and of our territorial integrity. One way of doing this is through the proper and relevant conduct of the ROTC's program. This will also coincide with our efforts to develop our reserve force. That, in a nutshell, is the meaning of the acronym UNITY. At this point, let me congratulate General Andres Centino for an outstanding career as a military officer and for a splendid job as the 37th and the 39th Chief of Staff of the Armed Forces of the Philippines. Palakpakan po natin si General Centino. This is not the first time that he and I have been principals in a change of command ceremony. Previously, I took over from General Centino as the commander of the 4th Infantry Division in Northern Mindanao, and then again as Commanding General of the Philippine Army. Thank you, Sir Andy, for all the lessons that you have taught me. God bless you, sir, in the next chapter of your life. To our allies, partners, stakeholders, and friends, I ask you to continue supporting the armed forces of the Philippines. Please help us help you. Security and peace, after all, is a collective responsibility shared by all of us. And finally, to our soldiers, Marines, sailors, airmen, and civilian human resource, I ask you to remain faithful to the oath that we all took when we entered the service. That of bearing true faith and allegiance to the Republic of the Philippines. Our mission is to ensure that this administration is successful in governing our nation, in securing our peace, and in protecting our territory at all costs. Before I end, I would like to quote the poem entitled Pledge of Loyalty by Albert Kim Hubbard. And I quote, "If you work for a man, in heaven's name, work for him. Speak well of him and stand by the institution he represents. Remember, an ounce of loyalty is worth a pound of cleverness. But if you must growl, condemn, and eternally find fault, why? Resign your position, and once you are outside, damn to your heart's content. But if you condemn this organization, the first high wind that comes along will blow you away, and probably you will never know why." End of quote. Mabuhay ang sandatang lakas ng Pilipinas. Mabuhay ang sambayanang Pilipino. To God be the glory. Maraming salamat po sa inyo lahat.
Thank you very much. The new Chief of Staff of the Armed Forces of the Philippines, Lieutenant General Romeo S. Brawner Jr.